Welcome back to a new video. So this video has two different workouts, and I was real happy with the natty or not, or the fake natty video I made. I know it's a little different than my normal stuff, but if you haven't checked that video out, um, I was just kind of rambling for a bit about statistics and how unlikely it is to have big crazy muscles. But I don't know, if there's enough interest of that kind of video, I could always do more. But this gym is one that's in Dayton, Ohio, called Clean Slate Weightlifting. And as you can see there with the 80, I just wasn't feeling it on this day. I did a lot on Thursday, so it made sense to me why I wasn't feeling super ready to hit some heavy lifts. I managed to get up to 120 in the snatch, albeit a pretty ugly attempts around that. No misses until I got to 120, which is good. I guess kind of with 90, but that was just more of a laziness than anything. And then got up to 140 in the clean and jerk. I missed a clean with 140, which was weird. Took a couple attempts at 150, and then squats didn't go well. Pulls, I just did one at the weight that I failed with squats that you'll see. In the second session, did 5 sets of 3 with front squats at 150, and then did some really light hang snatches and hang cleans and push presses. And so just got some productive work in with that. I wasn't really planning on training at all on Sunday, but I was just motivated to train, and I went to my friend's visitation on Sunday, so I was kind of in a mental state of, even if it's not optimal, even if I shouldn't, I kind of wanted to just go and, work out. The therapeutic benefits are always there, so sometimes it's important just to train, just to, take your mind off things, or just to exert yourself when you're feeling a certain way. Actually got a migraine on Sunday too, so I don't know if that's related to the stress of that or from the stress of front squats. I'm sure it's a combination of that, but whatchamacallit. So did 2 singles here with 90, the second one being a lot better than the first kind of makey miss one. But my overall thoughts of the gym, it's really nice space. The coach you can see right there. I think they have several different coaches, so I don't think it's always that particular person. But he was real nice. There's plenty of space to lift and all of that. I could see if there was 10 plus people, then it would be really cramped if you had to share the platform with multiple people. If there was someone in front squatting, so I could see that becoming difficult to not necessarily lift entirely, but filming could be difficult. And that's something that's important for me to film my lifts and stuff. So obviously I make videos, but it's also nice to look back at the lifts to see how bad I do lifts like that. But as far as the cost, it was $15, so certainly reasonable for a day pass. And the coach there is real nice. I grabbed a different bar, and he's like, you come use these ones. This one's a lot nicer, so it got me a nicer bar than the one I was grabbing. And the bar was good, so plenty of equipment and all of that stuff. It was a little weird finding 10 kilogram plates. Some of them had little pieces of tape on them that you're not supposed to drop them just because they were, I guess, broken down. But that's something that's to be expected at any sort of more commercial gym space, or one that's used by a lot of people. Things are going to break down, especially the lighter plates that people use the most. So that was a little bit tricky, but once I had a pair, then it was fine. And obviously you could still use them for squats if you needed them, just wasn't able to drop them. I actually had used them for the muscle snatches that you saw at the beginning, the plates I wasn't supposed to, but I just set them down so I didn't drop them, just to make sure I didn't destroy anything the first time I was there. There's the random 140 that I missed. It was nice to get some filming from the front, because I don't typically get that very much right now in the summer, and just seeing how my left side is a little bit weaker than my right, and the pull and in the catch and everything, and just gives you things to work on and to think about, which I kind of obviously know that the left side is weaker than the right, or that there's mobility differences and stuff like that, but just reinforces that and gives you stuff to work on with that. But overall it was a positive experience. The gym was quite hot, as I would say pretty much the same as my shed, so I was not necessarily struggling with the heat because I'm kind of used to it at this point with how much I train in the shed. But even being relatively earlier in the day, it was still something to account for. So it wasn't air. I don't know if there was any air conditioning. So they had the back doors open and stuff. So you can see here with the 210 as well that squats just weren't going to be at a crazy high number, just with how much I had to use my back on it. and then this 233 is what I failed. It's hard to see the yellows there, but maybe once I drop it, you'll be able to see it a little bit. But did a deadlift with that same weight, and then just moved on with my day. But overall, real positive experience. I'm glad I went to try it out. I had been thinking about the gym for a little bit, and it's not a place I would ever be able to get like a monthly membership at. I think it's 85 a month, which is I think pretty in line with like a weightlifting specific gym. Anything over 100, especially because there's a coach there at different times, so you have that added benefit, that added value added to that. But like on a typical week, the coaches leave at 6:30. I think the club thing opens at 5. There's like CrossFit there as well, so I don't know how that if the actual space is open prior to that. But the coach is there from 5 to 6:30. I at best in a perfect world would get there at 5, but most likely would get there after 5, almost assuredly, because it's a 40-minute drive without traffic, which means that with traffic driving from Cincinnati to Dayton would be almost guaranteed over an hour. I don't know how much over an hour, but planning for 60 minutes I think would be almost conservative. So that would not be ideal to drive 60 minutes to go to a gym that potentially, it's difficult to film. There's a lot of space, and the traffic could be even worse. So like it could be an hour and a half, and that's versus the regular gym I go to, it can be as much as 50 minutes to get there in rush hour traffic, but it is a 24/7 space, and at least with the new space, I'd imagine it probably would be air conditioned and stuff. So just a different direction to go to. But having a 24/7 space is certainly preferable, and it's like 37 a month. So you don't get coaching, of course, at my regular gym, but you do have that 24-hour benefit, and I can have all my equipment there and stuff like that. And I would imagine filming is going to be it'll be interesting to see how the fall when they have the facility finished, how that all ends up looking and stuff. So hopefully that part looks really nice, because I'll be lifting there a lot in the winter one way or the other. So hopefully it is as nice as what the owner has talked about, and I have no reason to think that it won't be. But yeah, I really like that the current gym I'm a member of. But it can't hurt to go to other places. But if I were to pick a gym in my area that I had to do a heavy session at, I'd probably go down to RTS, even though it's 25 for a session, which I think is too much for a day pass. I think 15 is the most you should charge for a day pass for a gym. I think that's reasonable, but there you have more space, similar equipment, and it's a little bit closer. I think it's a little under. It's like right at 30 minutes still as well. And for me, it would be mostly like a weekend training session, so I wouldn't typically be dealing with traffic unless I randomly went downtown on a Sunday during the NFL season, which wouldn't really be typical for my training splits anyway. But that would probably be where I would go if I had to. But as the gym gets finalized, the regular one, Raw Performance, that one will be hopefully super nice, and one that I'll just want to train at all the time. And it'll be interesting to see. But if not, then I have my shed, I have the the back room, I got options. But it is nice to go there, and it's nice to know where that gym is and stuff like that if I ever wanted to go back to do a training session there. But yeah, so I mean, overall, positive experience. Nothing life changing or anything going there, but you kind of learn the area a little bit. And unfortunately, that's kind of the two options that I would have if I wanted to go be around weightlifters and be in a like weightlifting centered gym. RTS isn't really like that. It's more of a general gym, but there are weightlifters there in a weightlifting space. That would be like a true like actual weightlifting gym to go to. But it's a lot easier to walk out to my shed than to drive 40 minutes even on the weekends. So it's usually my preference if I can. But also with the regular gym, that's where my buddy goes to. So it is nice to train with him as well. I don't think he would ever want to go up to Dayton to train, and nor do I think that would make sense for him at his current, what he trains for now, which is not really specific. He does weightlifting movements, but not really pushing the movements. But yeah, so a different little experience there. And I know there's a couple, at least there's one other gym I know that's weightlifting that's down here, but trying to go for like a session or an open gym type thing is just doesn't exist. Um, because they want to promote their coaching and stuff, which is fair. But I'm not going to pay $50 to go to a training session or anything like that. But who knows? Maybe another weightlifting gym will open up somewhere, or a space that is closer and similar price to the other one. Always looking for that, but that's why you make a home gym, so you don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. Because for whatever reason, Cincinnati, Ohio does not have a lot of weightlifting gyms. Um, there's a decent amount of CrossFit gyms, but I don't know. I don't really understand that. I don't really ever envision myself ever making a gym either to help fix that problem. I already tried that once in my life, but that's a story for another day. But anywho, that's it for now. I'll talk to you on the next one. I hope you have a great day. Peace.